What's up, everyone? Today we're going to go have some fun with the satellite. And quite honestly, let's go ahead and just recap the awesome adventure that this was. When Tony reached out to me a little over a year ago and wanted to do a bare bones junkyard 318 build, I never expected to be able to go on such a ride that this little 318 has taken me on. And I got to meet awesome people like Tony, like Nick, like you had Lamb Chop, Tall John, we have John Wilburn, and so many other guys that have really helped out through this project. And a lot of guys like Nigel, Chevelle, Peacefulseas, that, you know, they sent either bits, pieces, the shifter components, the plasma cutter, a bunch of things. And I have a lot of you guys to thank. It was a heck of an adventure. And unfortunately, we did get rained out on Musclepalooza, and we will be taking it to a track at some point. I have prior obligations that I made in advance, so when we get to it, we'll get to it. But right now, I'm going to just go ahead and enjoy it. It's been a heck of a ride, guys. So let's go ahead and enjoy the recap of our transformation from a junkyard part car all the way to being able to drive it down the road. And we've had to replace a lot of things like the torsion bar cross member, the front driver's side frame rail. And when Tony said that, hey, you know, we want to do this pretty quickly, grab whatever you can get, throw it in the back of your car, just pull the engine, put all the parts and pieces in buckets and bring it down. It was a crazy, like, ambitious goal, and I'm so glad I was able to be part of that. And this car is just spectacular, and it's totally put together. So we're talking about a 318 72 satellite built out of junkyard parts. Heck, I even pulled the transmission out of a local salvage yard. I think I have around $600 altogether in the transmission swap. So can it be done? Absolutely. Would I do another junkyard completely from the bare bones out of a salvage yard again? Absolutely. Someday. I'm more than happy to. It's crazy to take something that I had a lot of people tell me, just like the 71 GS, everyone says it's just a parts car, why are you doing it? And turning it around and saving something that most people wouldn't even bothered with. Does it have quirks? Yes. Will it probably always have quirks? Yeah, probably. But I'm going to work on it a little bit here and there until I have this thing really nice. We'll find another BMW seat, which, if we go ahead and turn this on, you can actually see it is a fully functional BMW seat. It goes forward, backwards, got lumbar support. It doesn't have the memory, but it wouldn't be too hard to get the memory in there. But yeah, you know, we'll get a back seat in here, and just, I mean, this thing is put together with just, we do have an expensive tack, but these are leftover components from my job. You know, these are probably from the you know, early 90s or something, based off of where they were. And we're in gear. No clutch safety switch. But yeah, let's go ahead and try, let's go have some fun with it today. I'm gonna just drive it around, and this will be really the first time I take her anywhere, so she needs a wash. That's one thing she needs. But yeah, she's pretty, the clutches leaves a little bit to desire. It is a used clutch. I literally put this whole thing together, minus the travel expenses and stuff like that. We probably only have, you know, $2,200 into the car, and after that, about $4 grand, maybe $5. If you take all of the collaboration costs out of this thing, we probably have $4 or $5 grand into this car. With the you know, we had some issues. Unfortunately, the clearances on the main bearings were way off, unfortunately. But we'll cover that in the recap and everything. But for now, I'll be right back, and we'll have some fun. What's up, everyone? Before we get into today's video, I wanted to announce, actually it's already been announced on Uncle Tony's Garage, but I want to make our announcement today that we're going to be working with Uncle Tony's Garage and Nick's Garage doing a budget Mopar build with a 318. So if you guys are really excited about a absolute budget build, check out Uncle Tony's Garage, Nick's Garage, and let's do this thing and just have a real good time. We're going to learn a lot, and we're going to do a straight from ground up marathon live engine build. That's going to be crazy. I'm very excited. I hope I have enough time to take as much notes as I can and absorb as much knowledge as I can, because this is going to be super cool.
And the hood is, I can't get the hood up. It might just be made, but still figure it out. Yeah. Yeah, he will have it out. Yeah, oh, yeah?
The things that really make this car stand out, there's a little bit of rust on the other side, not so bad on this side. The looks like the original wheels. I'm definitely gonna have to learn a lot when it comes to Mopar, because we're gonna want to keep this thing running regular. Look at that. She needs a little bit of tender love and care, but, and a new set of wheels, probably brakes. But let's save some more dreams, right? We have a rusted bore. That was, I mean, I'm assuming this water was just added into that, but this is completely rusted. Oh yeah. She's got quite the ridge, guys. Quite the ridge. We'll take this old gasket out. I can hang my finger. Let's take these gloves off. Set you guys back down for a half second. Ready? Yeah, we can catch our ridge right there. So Probably more of the same on the opposing side, but we'll go ahead and give her a shot. Well, guys, I would say that this old girl was pretty tired. And it's definitely a good thing we didn't just decide to romp on it, because she would not have, she wouldn't have held up. All right, guys, I want you guys to just take a gander at this. So here's our wonderful camshaft. Now I'm holding one of the flat tappet hydraulic, blah, 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 right there. Now, look at, so these are pretty worn. They're definitely not ideal, especially not trying to get any type of horsepower out of it. She probably wasn't running very well. And then when you see this one, so, oh geez, that's like a guillotine right there. So watch these 4 lobes. Ready? This is rounded off. Something fierce. I wanted to update you on something really important. This one cylinder here was very rusted. It still has quite a bit of rust. I tried cleaning this engine up a bit today. She had a lot of grime, but we have been making headway. Now, the biggest issue with it is I can physically hang my nail on each one of the cylinders, which as soon as you can do that, for me, it's right to the machine shop. Unfortunately for this engine, we don't have that kind of time, so I'm going to be trading it for a cord down at Uncle Tony's. So thank you very much to Uncle Tony. What's up, everyone? And for different angles, you can go over to my YouTube channel, and you can run 2 screens if you wanted to. And then Lamb Chop will be over too later.
Yes, Lamb Chop's World is that's on the YouTube channel. If you guys don't know that one, go like and subscribe. He'll be here filming a little bit later on today.
Say hello to Uncle Kathy.
What's up, guys?
This is exactly the way this head was cast, right? And you see this right here? It's just a random hunk of cast iron slag that's stuck to the inside of the wall. Can you see that now?
No, it's because if I turn the camera, I'm shooting into the light.
All right.
Okay, go ahead. Now I can see it.
You see it right there?
I see it. Yeah.
Okay. Heads like these are loaded with little things like that. And not only is that a disturbance to flow, but that's an area where fuel will come out of atomization and tend to drip in. It's little things like that you're going to find all through heads like this, these old school heads that need to be cleaned up. Once you've gone through these things and evened out all of the surfaces, and it doesn't have to be pretty, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just got to get rid of the obstructions, right? Once you do all of that, there really is no sense
So I'm going to start helping cleaning the block itself so we can start assembling that. That's going to be a big bulk of the day, and we still need to be able to get the whole thing together. So, but everything's laid out. Not 100%, but it's good enough that we can tackle it in a little bit. So the whole point that, as far as this is, I always bring stuff down to machine shops, and that's where all of the money goes. You'll sink more money into machine shops than all of the parts.
Here's the worst part. Here's the worst part of the machine shop.
You'll spend the money to have all this stuff checked out, and you still spent the money, and you have to start over. You can check it out before you spend the money if you do it this way.
Sat with water on it for a while. What do you guys think? You guys can actually probably get away with creek water in your shit down here,
Oh,
right?
that's nothing.
You can't get away.
People do it, you shouldn't.
Yeah. You put water in a block up my way, it'll crack in half the next winter.
Ripsaw 17 says all this time and block wasn't prepared, should have been painted already.
They say that?
Ripsaw 17.
Yeah, that's the point. You get to see what you have to do to prepare a block.
Exactly.
Yeah, this whole thing is meant to be real life, not.
This is real. If you just came here and saw prepared parts already and didn't know what all you had to do, yeah, you wouldn't learn anything.
Right. Taps. Do you have taps kicking around? Oh God, what do you got a tap? You need a bottom tap for the thread hole? For the bolt heads. Yeah. At the house. Okay, at the house. Could do. I'll give you an old head bolt. All right. I'll just kind of take a notch in it, and just run that in. Sure.
When he said,
Yeah, well, I need to keep you guys moving.
All right, you know, I'll tell you what. Let's do
I'm
this.
supervising.
Let's do this the shortcut way. Let's just use a right angle adapter.
that's what
That's what I was gonna say.
Right? Okay.
I almost brought one and I didn't do it.
Faster, Tony, faster!
Gasoline, cigarette, electrical device with freight cord, nothing could go wrong.
Gonna back up a little bit.
Yeah, I love you. I do.
Love it.
Brian! You're doing a wonderful job. Oh, yeah. Right? Yeah. Don't let anybody interrupt you. You're doing a beautiful fucking job, you are.
Lamb Chops channel is called Lamb Chops World. No B in Lamb Chops. LAMCHOPS World. Thank you, Ari. Thank you, Ari.
So John is currently just trying to determine the actual gap so that we check the bottom as well, make sure that we're true.
Yeah, we want to check doesn't matter as much at this stage what the gap is as what it is relative from the top to the bottom. So here we're just underneath where the top ring is, and that's in the maximum wear area. We're going to come down to right in here and check it, see if we got any taper. Still a little loose. Well, the good news is, you don't want to put nitrous on it, you got a good top ring gap. Yeah, you're good there.
That's actually awesome.
Yeah, you got a healthy ring gap.
Lamb Chop is the machine. He gets that from working with Tony on Bottle Rocket. Lamb Chop's man.
What do you got there?
Same thing.
Same thing?
Perfect.
Okay, no taper in that one, but remember this one looked better to start with. So
Right.
this one we had to polish a little more out of it.
Right. Yeah, and he also just used the newer stone on this one. Snug as a bug in a rug.
Like, real snug.
Okay, I'm going to take that as a highly technical term for no taper.
Look at the fucking job you guys are doing.
We're checking. So what we got on this one, we got about 1/1000 and 1/3 of taper. That's about what we got.
That's fine.
That's about what we got. But so it's a balance now. It's a balance between how much perfect roundness do you want to try to get here versus how much taper do you want to risk.
Well, we have round. What we have is a gap.
Yeah, that little gap.
Right?
Can't really get that out.
We can go a little bit further. You see, like ones like this down here, they fill with oil.
Yep.
So I don't even consider anything below the compression rings. Gouges are fine. That's rough. I wonder how that happened. Something must have gotten to the cylinder while
These are beautiful. No taper at all in these.
right. There was something going on.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And then Brian's checking that one, and then we'll move over here on Lemmy's side.
I would work a little bit more on this one here.
Yep.
See that? I mean, you can feel that. You can feel that. Go a little bit more on this one and a little bit more on this one. You're not going to make it perfect, you know, but for what we're doing here now.
Try to make sure to get the whole thing so we don't get any more taper problem in the top.
Yeah.
Make sure to get all. Yeah, lovely, isn't it? But that's the beauty. But that's the beauty of this, because other people won't show you that.
Yeah.
This is the real deal. This is uncut.
Honestly, right? If we weren't doing this live under this circumstance, I would put this block on the side. It's a good block, but I would put this block on the side, grab another one, and start again. But because we're trying to do this in the fashion that we're doing it, we're working with a pretty unusual set of markings here in the cylinder.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a woodchuck took the pistons out of it. I have no idea
I have
what
no
caused
idea.
that.
Yeah, that's an odd. And it's exactly at the bottom of the bore.
Only good because it's going on Nick's dyno.
I know. This won't show up on the dyno. This won't show up anywhere. It's the idea.
We need you to participate in this. Can you spin this around your fingers? Just so that you can have a part in this build yourself?
What's your name? Diego. Diego? Come on. Come on. Yeah. Simple deal. How many people are there? 900 people watching you right now. Diego, the pizza delivery guy.
And another 112 on here.
What we're doing is we're chasing a boat.
Yeah, you got over 1,000 people watching you right now.
So just screw that in clockwise until it stops. And you will have chased out. Yep. There you go. Spin it clockwise till it stops. Getting Diego to clean the threads on this snake here.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Back it out. Go the other way.
You know what? Maybe I should deliver the pizza.
Yeah, exactly. He is really good at this.
Natural.
Come on with it.
You can now say that you've helped to build an engine on YouTube.
And you chased all that stuff out of there. So when this engine holds together on the dyno, you will have been responsible for that. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Take care. God bless.
Thank you so much.
Aaron says Tony doesn't like ridge cutters for this stuff.
What's up, Aaron?
So when did you start working on cars?
I was 14 years, actually no, I started helping my papa and my grandfather with their cars. But my first car was when I was 14 years old. I worked hay baling and worked at the Scottsdale Fair, carrying around the coffee in the morning, popcorn and soda throughout the grandstands. I worked all summer for it. I bought an 88 Toyota Supra because I thought it looked, a 14-year-old mindset, to remind you, but I thought it looked like a Trans Am. And I couldn't afford a Trans Am. So that's what I got.
Nice.
So as far back as I remember, before that it was more like models and stuff like that. But,
Rodney says flip the lever instead of unscrewing it each time.
I tried doing that. Without the cup, it's not staying straight, and it's just shooting them off. So.
Is this the motor headed to Nick? Yes, it is. This is it.
There we go. You smoke.
So go smoke!
Somebody's gonna ramp the hate. They're gonna bring the hate. I would feel so much better if I could touch out with some sandpaper.
I've had enough smoke for you.
See all the names on that?
Want to see them?
You can see it when you cut it, all right?
Dun 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 dun.
I sent you a picture of that one.
Alright, cool. I'll dust them down and have a little brush up and push through them just to make sure you're all ready to go.
Crystal's Tech Tip brought to you by gasoline because screw electric. Very nice.
You got a good clear stream. Right? You see what I'm saying?
Long ones from yours?
Yeah.
Are shorter than the long ones from mine.
Okay. This one here, right? Before you do anything else, right? You got the two long ones in here? No, they're right over there. All right, put the two long ones in here, right? All right, you got those. Oh, no, those are the
Thank
two
you,
for the
Brett
window trailer.
Carson.
You there? Yeah, I'm there. All right.
Watsonda says, tell Nick, George, Vasilis that we are looking forward to the dyno session and for a great outcome in Laval.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, okay, there is an offset, but it's got to get turned around. See, if I put this in here with the notch facing backwards, so this is the number one hole, this is the number two cylinder, right? What, I don't have glasses on, what's that say? What's that say? Number one and number two.
Nice. Good job.
Thank you very much.
Very quick.
Nice. Sorry guys, I'm trying to stretch.
Go boys, go, you'll get it done.
Matt's got the other set that we got. guys get the job, I'll go this one.
All right.
I hear you, Russell.
Drop the other head on there. Head bolts, where are the head bolts?
Sorry guys, let me look at the comments. Can we get an update on what you guys are doing? Well, if you haven't been watching, putting the heads on. Good, how are you gonna make the perfect steaks?
What I have? Yeah, just sit here and wait for it. Poke it a little bit.
Poke it.
Poke it with your fingers. If it feels like your cheeks still red, then turn it over. Wait.
Yep.
Wait some more.
Nice. All right. Yeah, I'm going back over. Sorry.
Yeah, get in there.
I'm checking the cam, I'm checking the fucking cam. My fingers are spazzing up.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yes, exactly. It's just over 12,000. Is it tight? There is. Okay. Where's the difference down here?
Here?
Yeah. Oh, I need a small screwdriver.
This one?
Oh, well. And then split the dwell. Okay, like that. There's that's the dwell. Last move is always forward. Okay, see what you see? Touching here and touching here. So now you can check the gap just on the straight edge. Yep. Bang on, 4 degrees ahead.
Yeah, very well. Yeah, that would ask you.
I feel like I need to clap for some reason. Like, woo!
What is he doing?
It was really
What
intense.
did you just do, Tony?
I just checked the measure. I just checked the degree on the cam. Now wait, you also do one other thing too. Put Q in number 6. Use that auto loop because we're out of it. So now we're going to rotate the motor.
Use one on place.
Yeah, we're going to rotate the motor 360 degrees.
Let's see Lunar's
We'll
level
take
of
the camshaft 180 degrees. And now we're going to have split overlap.
Level of excitement.
Top dead center exhaust on number 6. And now we can tell, because a lot of times they'll grind the cam and it's not straight. You'll find that it changes as it goes through. So just to double check everything, we do the same thing on number 6.
Monty says, Lunar, be the cheerleader.
That's 12,000 fuel. By the way, it's hang on. Just a bit, you know. Okay.
Scalpel. Yeah, that's what I was. Forceps. Yeah.
That's like.
That's like how intense it was. There's a lot of intensity.
Well, that's how you degree a camp. That's amazing. You don't even know what this fucking crazy wheels and pointers and stuff is. That's how you degree a camp.
So what we're going to be doing over here is we're going to be duplicating this harmonic balancer's timing. As you see right there, we're going to do the exact same thing on ours. So this way, when we bring it up to Nick's, we can tell them, especially like right here, we're going to add another one for our specific engine that will actually make this thing run really, really well. So we're going to go ahead and replicate it.
That's all your info on gmail.com.
We'll get you this.
I mean, we pick up four 1/4 inch, quarter 20 bolts to attach the wings straight to the caps.
Okay.
And this is done. We just got a bolt the oil pan on.
Alright.
This is a complete motor, ready to send.
Is it ready to send?
In one day, hard crash. We started with, you guys don't understand?
Yeah.
We started with mixed matched parts, like junkyard stuff.
Junkyard crash.
Junkyard, yeah, we did everything from scratch. Complete block sets, we recorded the heads. We had issues with mixed matched pistons. We have to find pistons, tear down a whole other motor to get parts for it.
We had like 6
What do you do at a junkyard?
For those of you that haven't watched all, we had 6 hours just in this block.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
just
I got 6 hours in the heads.
Yeah.
Yeah, they worked on the block, I worked on the heads.
You guys are awesome.
So, you know, what is it going to do? I don't know. Is it going to live? I don't know. You know, I don't, yeah.
I think it's gonna be spectacular either way.
You think so? Yeah.
I think.
I think so. I think everybody would rather see it blow up and tell you the truth.
No!
With enough people watching
Yeah,
the
Jeremy.
Yeah.
Views?
Yeah, for sure. A lot of people are going to be tuning in to see what happens.
Okay, all you guys should be making wagers, monetary wagers, for and against on the two games.
You think?
So wagers that's going to live, go to UTG. Wagers that's going to die, go to LunarOutlaw. If it's dies, he's going to eat well up. Right? So everybody wins with that. Everybody wins. Wager that lives here, wager that dies there. Everybody wins no matter what happens.
Everybody's good?
We're going to wrap this up, guys.
Wrapping up?
So, LunarOutlaw Garage, right, Brian over there. Go subscribe to his channel. This is his engine. It's going to Nick's Garage. You know Nick's Garage? Go subscribe to Nick's Garage if you don't. He's going to run this thing on the dyno sometime Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know. They're still working that out. Brian's going to run this thing out from Nashville, Tennessee up to like, I don't know.
Canada.
Literally Canada.
Nick's Garage says, what an effort, right on.
Wow.
All right. I'll call you next. Yes, so obviously subscribe to Nick's Garage. We have Lamb Chop here. He's here for the whole morning. Lamb Chop World. Go subscribe there. Do you want subscribers?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, just for the fuck of it. Subscribe, Jan. Absolutely. I mean, seriously.
And Al came and
This guy's
helped.
the man.
He was
Al Castillo was here. Al Castillo was a big help.
Big help.
Yeah.
Al really helped you like the push
Lamb
on
chop.
sorting out and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Lamb Chop did the honing.
Yeah, he did a phenomenal job.
job.
We had cylinders that were all over the place with us.
Everybody
You watch
had
the
their
earlier
jobs.
videos.
Yeah.
Everybody had their jobs and everybody did.
Everybody
John
had
cooked the
their
meat.
Yep,
my
yep.
offspring
Uncle
cooked
John.
meat.
Delicious.
Uncle Crystal did an amazing job.
Luna's channel, and we'll.
And Uncle Kathy.
I really do
And Uncle
appreciate it.
Kathy.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, so everybody's hung around like the thank you so much, you know.
Yeah, thank you for watching.
Right, thanks for, you know, and everybody
Really
contributed,
appreciate it.
obviously, thank you so much. Everybody just, you know, thanks, you guys are awesome, I love you.
Yeah, we love you guys. Thank you, Buffalo Campo. We were extreme to drive to Nick.
Yeah.
We were extreme to drive up there.
No, because I'm going to have to stay in my house until we figure out when it's going to be available.
Okay.
Because I guess Tuesday's not going to be available.
So you're gonna stay tonight, put bolts in this thing, and.
Yep.
Ron Lewis sent $2. Amazing job, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome, guys. Awesome. Thank you for hanging out with us today.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing anything else.
Today we've made it up to Montreal, over to Indy Auto, which of course you all know as Nick's Garage, and we've made it. The engine is actually sitting in the back of the truck right there, and Just take a look at this, guys. Talk about goals right there. What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. The guys are hard at work. So let's go ahead and unload the truck, or not the truck, the engine, and let's get to work.
What are you doing, Nick? We're from the, now that I got my gauge on, I got the oil filter on, we got oil in the motor, I'm ready to prime it. I'm just gonna put the drill in, then I gotta activate my console because this is electronic gauge there. So now, here, mechanically we're set up. Now I'm gonna go in and put on the lights so someone can view the oil pressure. And here we go. Got a brand new cam flat bucket. I want to add extra zinc to the oil just for extra protection. So we're gonna put one of these balls in it. Here we go.
What is zinc using?
This is adding extra zinc to the oil. And you know, especially when I put a new cam with the flat tappets, I like to use this. But this is what I use on every engine break-in. So just to be on the safe side, when it's a brand new cam, let's be good. Let's be on the safe side.
Crank it.
You ready?
We were heading home very, very shortly. We got to pack this thing up and look at this place. What a heck of an adventure, guys. And you can't say that we didn't put the effort in. We can't say that, you know, we didn't go the extra mile. We got to go. That little engine's gone close to, let's see, close to 4,000 miles. Look at that, guys. What an awesome, awesome day.
This is for tomorrow.
Okay, because I saw my money out in the morning, gave it to him, you guys need to rush.
It doesn't matter, for tomorrow.
Yeah.
As we all know, all these flags come from around the world. There's our very, very first flag right there from Australia, right there.
That's awesome.
The one from Australia is our very first flag.
These are from just
The only two flags I bought are the ones hanging back on the shop is the United States flag and the Canadian flag.
That's awesome.
That's the only two flags, and after that, everything else folded after. And we're on our 4th season on YouTube.
Now guys, using Nick's numbers, what we're looking for is 1 to 3 thousandths of a tolerance. So, what we're going to look for, see if we can't get a good grip on this one main here. There we go. That's too far away. There we go. We're going to go ahead and take these out, put one of these pieces of plastic gauge in there. And we're looking for that magic number here. My heart's pounding, guys, because if it's not the crank bearing and the, you know, if the bearings are wrong, or if it is the, I should say, if the bearings are right, we're going to have to do a little bit of exploration inside this engine to find out where we're losing that oil pressure, because it's an awful lot of oil pressure. Pull this out nice and straight. So, see if you guys can see right there. You can see that mark. So let's see what we got. So one side is inches, one side is millimeters. We are looking for look at that, guys. She's smaller. Trying to get that a better shot. She barely squished it at all. What I did was, the day I had it flipped over and I was changing out the oil pump, I did go ahead and I pulled the crank out. And there's a video I sent down to Tony before we brought it down, or I brought it down, and it was the thrust. And I'll put a video up at some point, but the thrust was a good 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch. You can actually move the crankshaft in the engine when it was fully assembled. And I had never seen anything like it. I was blown away by that. And I told Tony that. I was like, I don't know, man. He said it'll be fine. And when I had that thing down there so that we can check to make sure that it didn't need to be brought up to 20 over, I was like, can you check the thrust surfaces on the crank? And they said, no, there's no saving that crank. So I was actually going to be saving that, like, because I have a whole workup on what happened to that engine. And I want to do it in one full video. But just so that, because you guys are here, I'll let you guys know that 318 no longer has the crank that I brought down to Tony's. Yeah, it has a 340 crank in there that is the mains and the rods are 10 over, so, or 10 under with 10 over bearings. So it's perfect. It turns beautifully. I cannot wait for that thing to be in here. It's not all sunshine and rainbows here, because if we follow the frame back, the frame glory ends right where the torsion bar cross member is. So the cross member is rotted, and I do mean rotted. Now that we have this fairly cleaned up, and we still need to do a little bit of cleanup work before we start putting welds down, but I figured we'd take the moment and make ourselves a nice template of what's going on here. Now, I've been trying to get the geometry correct for close to 4 hours. You're going to be using pipe clamps, beam clamps, vice grips, and everything, especially tape measure. Tape measure is going to be very important. But after you finally get it where you need it to be and you have it tack welded in, then it's time to really just finish welding. And just like that, guys, it's in. And I say just like that like it was an easy thing, but this was quite the ordeal. Not something I'd want to do again, and it would have been a lot easier off of, like on a jig or a rig or, you know, whatever. But working with what we have here, we were able to do it. Well, guys, I gotta say, I'm very happy with how these things look with the self-etching primer in it. They are gonna look even better when we get a coat of paint, an actual like black on these things. It's gonna be pretty sweet. Now, over here, as you can just see, I was just welding these things. I cleaned it up with a wire brush, and for my 4th time welding with this machine, actually, really, maybe my 5th time welding in 10 years, I'm pleased with how it turned out. What do you guys think? Before I start digging into that, look at that. I had to cut a little piece out of the new one. Nothing big, just a little piece to make it fit nice and snug. But yeah, this can all go right in the garbage. We're going to start over here. We have, when we replaced the torsion bar cross member, I went ahead and, not the best welds ever, but I put some decent welds in here. They're strong, they're just not the prettiest. Unfortunately, that means we have to now go ahead and remove these welds. So we have a bracket right here with some spot welds. We're going to have to go ahead and find the spot welds, drill them out. We're going to have to get this piece of rotten steel out of the way. We are going to replace the entire floor pan once we actually get the engine back in here. You know, that way we could, it's a little bit an access panel for putting the transmission in and everything. So what the heck, why not? So now this thing right here, we got to cut this old frame rail off right here, or probably a little bit closer, you know, as close as I feel comfortable doing it with the Sawzall. Just go on. Once it's out of there, we'll be able to grind the old welds out, take the old pieces right out, and just completely remove the old frame rail from the torsion bar cross member. Now, how I have it jacked up is I have a drum brake, you know, right sitting there. We have two weights above that. They're 35 pounds or 5 pounds. I don't know. I have no idea. But and a 6x6 holding up part of the unibody. So this side right here is nice and secure. That's where the bulk of the weight's going to be. Now, if we go over to this side, we have another bracket right here with a couple spot welds. I can actually kind of feel where they are right there. You can actually see the bracket that I was saying. I don't know how well you can see because of brightness, but you can see the bracket that we have to mess with right there. And then we have part of the firewall extension. I don't know what you'd call this part of the body. We have a few spot welds in there that we have to take out. Underneath, we have another couple spot welds there. Now, it's a little bit of a tight fit here, not too bad, but we're gonna just take our step bit, drill it out until the spot welds are gone, and then we'll just plug weld the old spots. Now, if we turn, we have a few more things we need to take off the frame rail once it drops, make it a little easier to get our hands on it. But someone was asking why I cut this part right here. Well, I cut this out so that I could more easily remove the old parts right here, because I'm actually going to just go ahead, clean the edges, and we're going to do a full weld on that. Over here, we have a jack stand. I don't know why I couldn't think of that right there. A jack stand holding up the radiator core support. There's not a lot of weight on it. I just want to make sure that if it does begin to sag or something like that, you know, we have all of this structure right here, all still in place. That's why we replaced the inner fender well, or fender. We did that so that we would have structure, a lot of structure. I got to get this side out yet, which isn't going to be super fun, but I need to get that side out. I need to do a little bit of repair in there so that when I weld it, it's going to be nice and strong. We have the new one right here. As you can see, I have the old one pulled out. I have a little bit of butchery I have to repair on the lower radiator core support. I have a ton of 16 gauge metal though, so I'm not too worried. The only one I'll have to repair straight up right is the piece that comes up and welds right here. That one's hidden by the bumper, so once everything goes back together, it will be kind of hard to get that and repair it. So we also have to pull the nut out of the other frame rail. That's the word. We have to pull the nut out of the other frame rail so I can go ahead, fix this up so we can go ahead and bolt the bumper back in. You ready for this? I don't think you're ready for this. Look at that, guys. Okay, guys, so I was able to get both sides taped off. Now I got to go ahead and cover the entire car. So this side was really hard with the dents in it to get it close to being right. If you can't see, what I've done here is every so often I put a little bit of piece of tape here. I measured from here to here, and then I just went with what felt right. And as far as I can tell, we're looking pretty good. Here it is before we go to the next and the final level. Boom. And I gotta say, I really like it. I really do. I'm glad we're not doing the fade on the side for the actual top. It does fade as you go further this way. And then as we go further back here, it does fade. Now it's dark back here because of the tree above, but you can see just how much it fades. It almost gets that speckling like the engine. Before we reinstall the little grill section that's on the side, you can see it over here. And that's just a regular flat black. And yeah, hold on a second. Well, guys, here it is. I love it. You got the blood splatter going on. It's very glossy. I'll be honest with you. It's very, very glossy. I'm not going to change it. It's not going to go matte or anything. Just, it's very solid here as you go through. Like I was saying, you can really see how it fades out near the end. It's almost like how the engine is. I don't know if I already said that or not, but the car looks awesome, guys. Hold on a second. Ooh, she's a manual. She's a manual. Get out of my way. Well, guys, as you can see, the floor has been removed. I saved that hump section so we can replicate it. I had a bit of a hard time on that side, but we managed it. Oh. As you can tell, it's a bit tight in here, but I do have a sunroof, so I guess there's that. We get some fresh air through there. You know, you have to worry about Fred Flintstone every so often step on your face, but other than that, not a big deal. I don't even know what that was. As you can see, it was sitting outside, so not the prettiest thing, but it cost me a lot less than if I was to order it and pay for shipping. We have our shift linkages. All the shift linkages we have before this were A-body stuff. The Z-bar was for an A-body. Now we have an E/B body shifter linkages, as well as the Z-bar. And the biggest thing and the most expensive thing that I have been having a hard time finding was the pedal assembly. I called beforehand to make sure he actually did have it, and although it's not the prettiest thing in the world, it will definitely work for our requirements, and I'm really excited about it. Now, the cool thing is this is actually out of a manual brake setup, so if we want to eventually switch down to a manual brake, we have the little linkage that goes into the master cylinder, so we can always adjust it down the road. This was a lot harder of a swap than, say, the '89 Supra over there. the 4-speed swap with the manual Z-bar and stuff like that, a lot more difficult than just throwing a, master and slave cylinder in there. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be worth it in the end. It's going to make this thing as competitive as we can make it. 2 weeks and a lot of work. The 4-speed manual, getting the rods bent so that they work properly, getting them bent and then getting them the fine-tune. So if you've ever worked on the 4-speed manual stuff on these cars, you'll know that you have to make the adjustment with that little threaded part there. Boy, you're there for a while if you want to do it right, I'll tell you what. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's prime the engine a little bit with just spinning the starter. We primed the engine already with the drill, but we'll set you guys up here. All right, let's go ahead and give this a try again. Last time I didn't have enough battery juice, so give her juice, give her a little, what, 4? Oh, almost there. Lots to adjust the have to adjust the let's let it warm up a little bit and check oil pressure and everything. Let's see. Oil pressure is great. Water temperature is not, so we'll have to wait for it to warm up a bit. Add a little bit of water. Alright, we'll be back. Now that we got it up to temperature and the coolant is flowing through the actual engine, let's go ahead and see what this thing sounds like when she sings a little bit. Got to get the other cameras going so we can really appreciate it. Well, guys, that was one awesome adventure, and we got to learn a lot. Just going through the 13-hour live stream and cutting it up for the edit for this video was, I had a smile on my face the whole time. We got to learn a lot, whether it was how to degree a cam without a degree wheel. I mean, the thing runs fantastic, and obviously he was correct. It worked perfect. Whether it was all the stuff that we learned up at Nick's, learning hard lessons along the way, and being able to spitball with Nick, trying to figure out the oil pressure issue, and it turns out the crank was just completely worn out, and we end up having to put a replacement crankshaft in there. We got to learn a lot, and that's, as long as you can learn from whatever your experiences are, that's a success. And how we accept, setbacks in a project is really how we build ourselves as a person and how we build knowledge. It's not all about your successes and your victories. It's how you take the setbacks. And there was a few on the way, whether it was learning that the frame was bad, whether the torsion bar cross member was bad. We were able to come around and keep our focus on getting the car running, and it is such a nice car, guys. And I'm looking forward to being able to translate the knowledge I've learned in the past year into future projects. And I'm hoping you guys would be interested in joining me in those projects in the future. So, it's not like we have a lack of engines that we have to build. We have the Buick engine, we have this 440, which will have to go into something someday. And what other cool things will come up down the road? I'm just looking forward to this adventure, and the opportunities it brings. So until the next time, guys, hit that subscribe button. If you like the content, hit the thumbs up. I really appreciate you all, and I appreciate you all following along with this journey. And if you're new here, welcome aboard, guys. So until the next time, remember, keep your shiny side up, and God bless.